Welcome everybody to another episode of Cruisin the Planet. I'm your host Ethan. With me today for this week's episode, number 49, is
Taylor
and Rissa.
All right. I have the what's y'all's podcast name?
the Music Business
Music
Babes.
Business Babes. Yes.
Yes.
Indeed.
This week we have so many things going on today, like right after we get out of the studio here to produce this episode, that we are going to cut everything short, probably 15, maybe even 20 minutes. So if you're listening to this and you wonder, they don't usually babble on until like the hour mark as Ethan tries to do. There's a reason for it, because we have jobs. We're going to be talking about the drive-in this week. We're going to talk, I found a fun fact involving insects that everyone hates. This KTRL stream, the Texan debate, which I was doing a remote broadcast for. Nice. The carnival, the haunted house, and then next semester, everything going on at Tarleton. Let's start off. Have any of y'all seen the movie Monsters, Inc.?
Yes.
Yes.
Do you like it?
Yeah.
Don't be reading my notes.
Oh, I can't see that far.
I took my glasses off.
Okay.
Who are you again?
Yeah, for real.
I'm Ethan. Hi. Do y'all like the movie Gremlins?
Yes.
I haven't seen it.
Well, you're in luck.
Are you talking about like the old?
The Brazos Drive-In is doing a double
Nice.
feature with Monsters, Inc.
there
and
we
the
go.
Gremlins movie.
What day?
Yeah.
This whole weekend, I believe.
Oh.
It's Saturday or Friday through Sunday. Now I gotta go look that
I
up.
think it might be Friday and
I
Saturday.
think it's just Friday and Saturday.
Yeah.
I could be wrong though. Doesn't happen often.
Well,
But
my keyboard has stopped working. Brazos.
Yeah, I'm pretty
Brazos.
sure it's Friday.
Yeah.
It's Brazos.
Brazos. Yep. I've only been wrong once in my life. It's when I thought I was wrong.
Oh yeah.
I'm wrong constantly.
The Brazos.
It's a lot safer to just be wrong constantly.
I'm just
one's
used
trying
to
to
it
prove
'cause
you.
I'm from around here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I've heard it.
Brazos.
Yeah.
Come on down there in the Brazos. Drive in.
Us foreigners.
We got us some good movies.
Yep.
Y'all.
Some good flicks.
Some good plays.
Yeah, they've got a double feature Friday and Saturday, a single feature on Sunday, $15
Wow.
per carload at 1800 West Pearl Street in Granbury, Texas.
What's the single on Sunday?
The single is looks like Gremlins.
Ah, cool. Cool.
Yeah,
cool.
because their double feature will be the 30th and the 31st, with Monsters Inc. being the second, Gremlins being the primary.
Nice.
Showtime's at 7:10 p.m. Gates open at 5:45.
Ooh.
Everything closes at 7:30. I think that's when they lock you in.
Ah, cool.
I've been to a drive-in once before. I'm not super familiar with how they work.
I have never been to a drive-in.
I went-
Ever.
Wow.
I went to that one.
Yeah?
Yeah, a couple weekends back.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really fun. Y'all should go.
I want to. I very much want to. I feel like when I do a drive-in, I want to go in a truck or
Oh.
like a big van or something, so I
Yeah.
can decorate it.
Something
and-
you
I haven't-
decorated.
Yeah, like you put like big cushy blankets or something in
Mhm.
there and snacks.
That's what I did
That'd be
because I have
fun.
an SUV. I just had like a little cooler and like some
Mhm.
pillows and some blankets.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
If you take a truck, you can get an air mattress
Yeah, I've thought about it.
or a real mattress.
Yeah, I've got one friend and she has a truck,
Mm.
so I'd have to get her to go to the movies with me.
Monsters Inc. and Gremlins.
Yeah,
That's a pretty enticing deal. $15 a carload too. It's only an hour out of town.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
So that is our fun thing to open with. Let's talk about a less fun thing to open with here.
Yay.
Registration has cracked open for next semester
Yes.
here at Tarleton. I got the email. I think everyone.
I am
Yeah.
registered.
Oh,
I will be here next spring.
awesome.
Graduate. Yay.
Yeah,
In
Rissa's,
December. I don't
Rissa's
have to
done.
register.
Rissa's out of here. So this next. Yes, yes.
That was the cutest woo.
Me and Taylor.
I love it.
Me and Taylor are unfortunately stuck here.
Yes.
Dealing with the new version of HighFlex and online attendance for classes. So, I've had this confirmed by various sources. I won't name names because I got people on the inside.
Oh.
Nice.
HighFlex is going to be coming back, where you can go in online or you must attend your class on Zoom synchronously.
Yeah.
You can go full online on your classes. You can just opt out early on. Or you can have asynchronous as a part of your class. However, that is going to be limited with permission by the professor. Only with extraneous circumstance, I assume, being illness, quarantine, injury, something like that.
Yeah.
Allows you to go fully asynchronous.
I think that's good. I know in a lot of my classes, like the people who are doing air quote asynchronous, they're just not showing up to class and saying that they are.
Right.
So that's good. I mean, I had to do asynchronous 2 times, and that was nice. Like, because I really could not be there,
Yeah.
and I didn't want to miss anything, so that was nice. But I know some people say that they do asynchronous, and then they are like, oh, I'll just watch all my classes this weekend or whatever, and they just don't.
Just push it
So-
off entirely.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Like, my 2 times that I had to do it, if I came up to a professor, which I did, you know, but if this was next semester and just told them, like, why, I'm
Yeah.
sure they would have let me do it, you know.
More than
I-
likely.
I think cases like that, it's fine. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's a good move. As long as they don't take away the Zoom option.
Oh,
you know,
no,
that's
Zoom
fine.
is going to continue to stay around for
Yeah,
most of
So
this.
it's
That's
just
good.
the only online watching it,
Yeah,
not during
But
class.
everyone has to be there at class time.
Yeah.
That's sort of the biggest thing that they're pushing right now, and attendance can be taken. It with perhaps either a new feature or the professor for the first 5 minutes of class just
Yeah.
does a little
Yeah. Sounds good. I mean, I don't have a huge problem with it. I feel like the
Yeah.
people who are doing asynchronous that shouldn't be are the only ones affected by that.
Yeah, people who just same people who like don't attend classes.
Yeah. Because if
Right.
you have a legit reason to do asynchronous, you know, even if it's like, oh, I have a job and I couldn't pick another time,
Yeah.
I'm sure professors would be like, oh, yeah, that's fine. Like, whatever. Like, you're still learning.
Yeah, I found most professors when you like come up to them and you're like, "Hey, I really would like to take your class. I just
Yeah.
physically am not able to." Like when I was explaining my transfer of degrees when I was going from engineering into business, I walked into the front desk and they were like, "Hey, y'all, you're doing really bad at your classes. What's going on?" And I was like, "I work 2 jobs," and they went, "You are no longer doing more than 2 classes this next semester." And I was like, "What?" And they were like, "Sign this paper right here. You're doing 2 classes. These are the 2 classes you're taking. No more." And I was like, what? And they're like, "You're working 2 jobs, idiot."
Yeah.
Like they like got real with me for a second. They were just like, "Dude, you're gonna die.
Yeah.
You're taking
It's
2
true.
really math intensive courses."
Uh-huh.
And I was like, "Oh no, they're right. I didn't eat today."
Yes. I've definitely
No,
been
I
there.
think, but I do like that they're gonna keep the HighFlex option where you can like make, because some weeks I'm able to physically make it to all my classes. Other weeks I'm physically not able to make it to all of my classes. So the ability to have that option really helps out. It just depends if something comes up.
Yeah.
Suddenly my schedule is full and work takes a level of priority because it's how I pay for everything.
Yeah.
I think that that's going to allow for a lot of people, especially recently we've started to notice a lot of students capable of taking advantage of these sort of things where it's like, well, I can do more job wise, or I'm able to be a little more flexible on one thing because school is allowing me to be a little more flexible on it. Like we have people who are taking their discussions while they're studying for something else, or they're in like some other situation where it would be physically impossible.
Yeah.
That connectivity, that instant snap.
I feel
works
like
really
I've
well.
been less absent
Right.
this semester, like compared to
Yeah.
Yeah.
other semesters, just because.
Are you usually real absent, Rissa?
Yeah.
Oh,
Not big on the whole attendance thing.
no.
Yeah.
Attendance has always been weird as well. I know that they said there's a chance that taking attendance will happen either way, online or in person. That's
we
always
usually
been,
have attendance pretty
Yeah.
much in every single class.
that's
in
always
music.
been weird to me.
Yeah,
take,
it
like,
is weird.
attendance.
Yeah.
Early on, like through high school, it all makes sense because it's illegal to not go to class.
Right.
It,
Yep.
like there are truancy officers exist. that
Yep.
keep-
Rissa knows about that.
Yeah.
Rissa,
Yeah.
we don't have to push into it if you don't want to.
No, it's okay. I made good grades. Let's keep this short and sweet. I made good grades. I just didn't show up.
Got it.
Yeah.
It's like,
Top 10, but on the truant list. So
criminal.
I didn't get truancy, but I was very close.
Right.
I had to make up a lot of time.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
had summer school for a similar reason.
Mm-hmm.
Dang,
Yeah.
you're bad.
Yeah.
Bad.
Because we're real.
I know it.
Because we're real, Taylor, unlike you.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, but for
I
the
went to a ghetto school though.
for the music, for the fine arts building, almost every single class
Yeah,
has attendance
Definitely.
compared to like other majors
yeah.
where they don't count attendance in your grade.
I know attendance
Yeah.
has been a big thing this semester just because of the tracing.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, yeah.
making certain everyone's at, but there are professors who are like, this is weird and silly and weird
Mhm.
if you take a grade on attendance, which never
Yeah.
made sense in my brain.
My first class to ever not take attendance was this semester, and it was my government class. He was like, I don't believe in attendance. If you want to be here, you'll be here. And if you don't learn, then that's your fault. And
Yeah.
so he, he only does attendance for the people who are in the room. And he's like,
Mhm.
because we have like the new check-in thing.
Yeah.
You can go in on Canvas and check in that you're there. And he's like, only check in if you're here in person, because I don't care about attendance.
Yeah.
But if one of you guys gets sick, then we got to
Nah,
trace it.
You checked
Yeah.
in, so
Yeah.
you were physically here, and I gotta
Yeah.
go find you.
So
It's-
that was cool.
It's kind of weird to hear that like other majors are like weirded out by attendance.
Yeah.
Where we've always had attendance.
Always.
Well,
Always.
y'all do a
like-
lot of events. I know this. If you want to talk about the number of different things that you all have to go to just for music.
Oh, so much. We could talk about recital
Yeah.
attendance that's required but
Which-
not worth anything.
Yeah.
As in, it's worthless to go to recital, or you're just not
No.
getting any credit for it.
we get no like hourly credit,
Mm.
but we still have to have it and attend so many, and
It's
to
a pass
it's
or
like
fail.
yeah, and if
Whoa.
you don't make a certain number of recitals, then you would fail that. You have to
Mhm.
retake it. Like you can actually be like
Held
held
back,
back.
because you're not going to enough recitals.
yeah.
Yeah.
What do you do at recitals?
Sit there and
You
listen
observe?
to somebody sing, play.
See, and I
something.
think it's a good thing.
yeah.
But I also kind of think that if I am an instrumentalist or you're an instrumentalist and
Mhm.
you're watching like primarily vocal performances, what am I taking away from that? If it's
Right.
not the basics of how to perform on a stage, which we should know
Yeah,
at this point.
FYS,
you know?
we learned that the first semester. First
Yeah,
year
yeah,
seminar.
you have like they kind of already tell you that. So that's the
Mhm.
one thing that I don't see as like super beneficial is what am I taking away from that performance, because it doesn't necessarily pertain to me.
And there's a lot that we have to go to. I
Mhm.
think it's like, I don't know, I could be wrong. Isn't it like 12 or something?
It's 8 now.
Oh,
I
it's
think.
8?
Yeah,
My first year when they first introduced it was like
Mhm.
16.
it was a lot.
and they
yeah.
just had so many people fail it.
Well,
They
it
cut
might be 16 a year, but like 8
Oh.
a semester.
You're right.
But I'm not sure.
That seems better.
I hope it's 8.
I feel like I got 12 from
Uh-oh.
somewhere.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, it's a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it sounds like it's a lot.
I think it's good. I mean, you can sit back and come up with the reason why it's good, like
Yeah.
for vocal, like as an instrumentalist, like a lot of lyrical pieces, you're supposed to play as if you were singing. So if you
Oh,
have like
yeah,
a really
yeah.
good vocal person come in and sing really clearly, you can kind of be thinking about like sometimes I'll think about people's voices
Mhm.
as I'm playing the trumpet. So like I guess I can
Yeah.
take away stuff like that, and even presence, how they're standing, where they're putting their
Mhm.
feet. But
Yeah, there's definitely something you can take away from it, but at the same time, it's like
it's kind of it's like the attendance in general. It's kind of hard to make it required. Like if you want to go, you're gonna go. If you don't want to go, you're not gonna learn, and you probably it would show for that. You
You
know?
kind of, yeah, aren't you already paying for these classes? You're already paying to be in this program.
Yeah.
So then you would think that someone would just like show up.
Yeah, like I would go to these recitals anyway. It's just now I
Yeah.
have to remember to scan my card every time I go to them and keep track. Oh, did I go to 7 instead of 8 or
Yeah.
something like
Yeah.
that? You know.
it's a little weird.
Yeah, like I like going to the plays, and I always watch my friends when they have
Mhm.
recitals and stuff. And
Mhm.
usually that's, over what they need. But I remember one semester I looked it up and I had like 1 left or
Mm.
something. I'm like, oh my gosh, like if I hadn't known, because
Mhm.
I didn't keep track of it. I just thought by seeing all my friends and everything, I would make it.
Yeah, I had to use like an alternative like concert
Mm-hmm.
thing to count as my one last one because I didn't get enough like
Yeah.
recital ones, so I had
That's
to use
crazy.
something that like I went to outside of school
Mm-hmm.
to like
Yeah.
show that I went to enough performances.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's like attendance. I get the point, but I also
Yeah.
get not having it.
Yeah, because like
Yeah.
also there's people in music that are not necessarily like performers,
Right.
you know,
Right,
but
yeah.
still have to watch performances and
Yeah. Like there's a lot of people in music business that just want to be management or
Right.
something like that.
Mhm.
Like they
Production,
don't yeah,
like
they don't
y'all.
yeah. Like
The
it just so
entire
happens we're I think we're both good at what we do, so we can play something if we had to
Yeah.
or perform, but there are some people who just performing's not their thing. That's why they
There
didn't
are
pick performance.
people who purely
Yeah.
want to be the best at room acoustics,
Right.
who want to be able to just walk into a room and make it negative
Yeah.
20.
Like I know
constantly.
a guy whose goal he just wants to work in a music shop and repair instruments.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
that's his goal. So why make him perform? That's not what he wants to. I mean, it's good to perform a little bit to keep up with your
Right.
trade and your skill, but I don't know.
there's so much emphasis on it.
Yeah.
Do you think that's perhaps an part of a bygone age where you have all of the old, like
Yes.
classical?
Yes.
When you think music, it's very like old.
Mhm.
It's very classical.
Yes.
The whole system, it's been this way forever.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
I mean, a
Yeah.
lot of people say that the whole reason that we even like in the traditional school setting that we sit in rows and we raise our hand and we have like you're sitting in perfect lines and rows is because a long
Mm.
time ago, like in factories,
Mm,
everyone was in rows and you took turns and like
yeah.
it was teaching because that was the age where they designed that
Mhm.
was that long ago, so that's just what we've stuck with. Whereas now like everyone's different, we don't exactly like want to be in a perfect little grid and sitting
Yeah.
there.
I'm talking more specifically business school. Is it a bit older in the way that it's set up? Do you all get a lot of like course adjustments throughout as new information comes out?
I think
Well,
so, a little bit
I
of
think
both.
with like the music side, like
Mhm.
specifically music,
Mm-hmm.
stays the same
Oh.
except for theory
Yes.
has changed
Yeah.
slightly.
Yeah.
But everything like that has stayed the same. Music business
Uh-huh.
is continually changing. So there
Yes.
is
Right.
a discord between
Okay.
like music business and the music side.
Yeah.
So you
The
have some
performing
archaic
arts.
like
Yeah.
you know
Yes.
The
practices
performing
in
arts
there.
is the old structured one that kind of doesn't really change very often unless it needs to.
Yeah,
Right.
see, and it's not a bad thing that it doesn't change, I guess,
That it
because
just
Yeah.
that's just
it's
what it
just-
is.
or yeah, it just
A
that's just
G
what it is.
A G is a G, an E is an
Mhm.
E. Those don't
Mhm.
really change. If they did, that'd be crazy.
There is like some differences in theory that have come about just because
Yeah.
it is theory, music
Mhm.
theory, you know. So
Mhm.
there's things that people discover, but like classical
Yeah.
theory kind of. I mean, that's the same. It's just analyzing music in a specific way,
Mhm.
you know,
Right.
right? Like,
Yeah.
but with music business, of course, there's equipment that's new.
Yeah.
You know, like it's technology pretty much.
Right.
So
You
it
are
is kind
you
of
are
weird
just
to
as,
be.
You are just as updated and involved as every other program or course.
Well, okay, so like the music side isn't necessarily like outdated. That's not what I'm saying at all. It's just
Right.
they just didn't need to change. Like it's
Right. Yeah.
So
Kind of more in the performing is what you're talking about.
Mhm.
Like, being classically trained, like the
Mhm.
vocalists, they don't get to sing Taylor Swift. They get to sing like a long time ago, like
Italian.
traditional things, like stuff you don't hear in English.
yeah, so
Mhm.
yeah, different languages in
Yeah.
certain periods.
Yeah.
Not necessarily like classical, but
So
Yeah.
they're learning like Italian or
Whatever they were.
German. I
yeah, it
guess.
could be German, Italian, French.
Yeah.
Like you could also do some theater type. What is
Mhm.
that called? Like
Opera.
no, yeah, there's opera, but there's also like the more theatrical pieces
Yeah. I know
of
what
like
you're talking
Broadway songs.
Yeah.
They'll do that.
Oh,
And
yeah.
jazz, but
yeah.
that's about as modern as it gets.
about. Yeah.
Yeah,
so-
I get- jazz would probably be the most modern,
Yeah, but I
just
think
because
with,
everything past that just turns into the modern era of music, which is like a little
Well,
crazy.
yeah, jazz is in the modern
Yeah.
era.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
But-
even in music business, like we're getting updates on things. Like they just added a Pro Tools course that we're both
Oh.
in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, since
Awesome.
like I've taken a couple courses on different DAWs or DAWs and
Hmm.
anyway, so like Pro Tools is kind of the bigger one, more new.
The
It's the current
Industry
one.
standard.
Yeah, if
Mhm.
you're anybody in the industry, you know how to use Pro Tools. So they just added that. So I mean, like at least in the music business, they're trying to keep pretty updated.
All right, cool.
Yeah, but
But attendance is
Yeah.
attendance is nasty.
Yeah.
yeah,
We don't like it as students.
yeah,
Mhm.
it's pretty interesting.
I'm
that-
busy. I don't want to be.
Yeah, I think the fine arts kind of it kind of works under a different
Yeah.
way than
It's a
pretty
different
much any other building.
It's a different
You're right.
speed.
It's just different.
It's
like
different.
it's
Yeah.
got its own little set of rules, like our recital attendance and
Yeah.
courses that you have to take but don't really
Get
Yeah.
credit for.
Marching band.
There's
is
so
worth,
much
like 1 hour.
time.
What?
Yeah, there's so much time that you put into all of these things
Yeah.
that aren't really counted, but they're required.
Yeah.
So I think
yeah.
when people talk about like music majors, they always, I've heard this a lot, like,
What's up?
oh, that must be so much fun. Like you just get to play and like have fun and blah, blah, blah. And like, no.
Yeah.
yeah. It's,
No.
No,
It's hard.
It
I
is
only work
not.
with y'all, and
Yeah.
I like working so close next to Cole in the office. I just constantly hear about like scheduling these two is terrible.
yes.
Yeah.
They're
'Cause-
always busy.
Yeah, there's, I mean, with all of the lessons and the
Yeah.
attendances.
I'm surprised
and-
y'all have this job, just
Yeah.
because like
Yes.
when do you sleep? When do you eat?
We don't.
No.
Okay, got
We
it.
pretty much live in the fine arts building. Like the
This is
first couple
true.
years, like you live in the fine arts building.
Yeah.
Huh.
Uh-huh.
Like you don't leave.
At least it's a
At all.
nice smelling building.
They had to put a sign up on the practice room saying like don't sleep here
Yeah.
Jeez.
because people would. Like,
Yeah. They would eat and sleep
I
in
s-
the fine arts
I
building.
straight up knew a guy who he would go in and he would practice and he would bring like a blanket and a pillow
Yeah.
and he would take a nap like like 2 a.m. He would take a nap until like 6 a.m. and then wake up and practice again and then go to class and start his day.
Oh.
And like
Yeah.
that was what he did. He just woke up gradually throughout the night in the practice room to practice until he couldn't keep his eyes open anymore. Take a nap, wake up, practice.
That's a
Yeah,
crazy
'cause-
level of dedication.
there's,
That's like a
like-
myth almost.
Yeah. Because there's like a foundation of you're becoming like classically trained
Mhm.
and you're getting like the music background,
Mhm.
you know, like the
yeah.
foundational level of that. But then every person in there, like we're music business, there's a second level, you know, of
Mhm.
music business. And then if you're a performer, there's a second level of performing.
Yeah.
And then if you're
Education.
education, there's like a whole nother
Yeah.
whole bunch of levels of
Right.
education on top of that. So it's
Interesting.
it's
Yeah.
like a lot
It's too
crammed
much.
into.
Y'all have.
and it's not worth anything. Like
It's not worth
like,
anything.
Like marching band. I mean, how many hours and dedication that like blood, sweat, and tears, literally,
Mhm.
and it's worth 1 hour.
Uh-huh.
And we have to have ensemble credits, like being
Mhm.
involved in the symphony or something. And even marching band does not count for an ensemble, although it's an ensemble.
Right.
Oh, and if you perform in an ensemble, you can't count that as one of your attendances. So if you're in a
Right.
lot of ensembles, I had that problem because I was in multiple choirs.
Uh-huh.
I couldn't have any of those count towards my attendance.
So you're doing
of-
now. You're doing too much.
Yeah.
But they won't
Yeah.
let you. That's weird.
Yeah, like recitals. If I had a, on one of my recitals, or if I was in an ensemble and we had a recital, we don't get recital credit.
Yeah, and if you're in all of those ensembles and you perform in like the jazz concert, you also don't get to count
Yes.
that one, even though you only did like one song.
So the
and
people who are
watched
doing the
rest.
most struggle the most to get those credits too.
Yeah,
It's just it's.
we used to be able to count them, right?
Yeah, we did.
And now we can't.
Uh-huh.
So what I'm getting at is that it is a little bit backwards
Yes.
at a certain point.
To a level. Attendance is still stupid.
Well, let's take this for a second. Y'all definitely have enough. If you were missing the conference beforehand, definitely weren't. You could both 100% do y'all's podcast so easily.
Oh.
The Music Business Babes podcast.
Oh,
You have
yeah.
so much already.
Definitely.
Just
Oh my
we've been
gosh.
talking for the last 15 minutes
Oh wow,
Nice.
yeah.
entirely on this subject, and just all sprung off of attendance. So
Yeah.
that was a fun little here. One
Yeah.
sec, I can do an editing trick.
All right, yeah.
That was back from a preview of their new podcast, Music Business Babes.
Right.
No, not at all.
Nah.
No, that's a ton of insight on it. Cause AJ, did you ever meet AJ?
He trained me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
And,
so
and he was in music business with both
yeah,
of us.
he was in.
Yeah.
AJ was in music business. He worked here
Mhm.
for maybe 2.5 years before. We still have a lot of his podcasts and stuff on at the station, and so he would just talk all the time about how backwards and weird it is, and he always came in like rushed, and it was like, dude, like,
Oh yeah.
are you okay?
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
definitely stressful.
So I yeah.
I feel like now senior year I'm finally like calmed down a bit.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, okay, I can relax. I don't have
That sounds
theory
so
or
nice.
you know, like all of these really
Mhm.
hard courses.
Yeah. I'm
to
getting
deal
there.
with.
Now you can just make music videos.
Yeah.
Now you can do what everyone thinks you've been doing the whole time,
Yes,
which is
now I
just
get to have
playing your
fun.
guitar.
Ain't that the truth,
You
man?
can finally, you've put all the work in, and it's gonna pay off now.
Yes, but I can be thankful towards all of those theory courses and all of those more classical
Yeah.
type foundational courses because
Yeah.
they've really allowed me a lot of insight on how to compose music, even if it's not classical. You know,
Mhm.
like what the
Yes.
ear wants to hear,
Yeah.
what it's, you know, like trained to want, you know? So that's really great for, you know, in the moment I was like, oh no, I don't really
Oh,
know what I'm
yeah.
going to do with this German augmented sixth chord, but
Yeah,
now
for
I
real.
know.
Uh-huh.
And I don't have to use that.
And
but-
now you can be real cool and be
I
like,
can
oh look,
implement
check
things
this
that I
out.
want.
I'm playing a pretty standard array, but then look at this little augmented sixth
Oh,
over
yeah.
here.
yeah.
Saucy.
Now I can implement what I need and kind of not ever think
I bet
about
you're.
Oh yeah.
all of those.
I'm certain that your improvisation class, like sessions, sound crazy.
The what? The like.
Just doing like a little improv
Oh.
on the
Yeah.
fretboard.
Oh no, we don't get to do that.
I was writing a song the
Wow.
other day, and like I don't think about theory like first,
Mm-hmm.
but with all the ear training, I don't think I have perfect pitch, but I think I'm kind of close to it.
Yeah.
So I was like sitting on my keyboard and I was playing stuff, and I was like, oh, this sounds cool. Oh, this sounds best next to it. And then I was sitting down writing it out on like some stamp paper so I wouldn't forget what notes I was hitting on the piano, and I was like, oh, like this is this chord, like oh that's
Yeah.
why, you know. So
Yeah, you'll notice like
it makes sense.
yeah, like
All
if
those
I'm
those layers and layers of
Yeah.
continuous practice have fed into each other.
yeah,
Yeah.
you'll notice that like
Interesting.
your ear is making you compose something, and then once
Mhm.
you actually look back to analyze it, like with one of my little guitar solo things that I did,
Yeah.
I was writing it and I was like, oh, this is really cool. And then once I really looked at it, I was like, okay, yeah, I'm following the pentatonic scale. Like that makes complete sense. But
Uh-huh.
I didn't think about it while I was doing it.
Right.
It just naturally happened because I know that's what's gonna sound the best because it sounded, you know, it sounded the best to me in the moment
Mhm.
because it'd been, you know,
Yeah.
kind of taught.
I have
That's what sounds good.
I forgot what I named it, but I have a song that I was writing based off of a pentatonic scale,
Mm-hmm.
and I forgot what I called it. It was some wordplay that
Oh,
It was
yeah.
on
silly.
the word pentatonic. And it was fun.
Classic.
Oh, I loved it.
Clever.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Well, I have a fun little fact
Ooh.
that relates to that. Did you know that you can train wasps by scent within 5 minutes?
no.
Scent.
Yeah, you can scent train them. Wasps aren't very familiar with the scent of vanilla, and but they have really good sniffers. And so if you capture a bunch of wasps in little jars and feed them a little bit of vanilla scent along with whatever you want them to chase, which is usually like their prey that they go after,
Yeah.
like spiders or whatever, you can just release a jar of wasps and they'll go find things.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's kinda
Where are
cool.
where do they have their scent like organs?
Their
Is it on
antenna.
there? Oh, okay. I was just wondering if they were like butterflies.
Huh.
Or they like lick it?
Yeah.
Nah.
You know how they
No.
have like their taste buds on their feet or something?
Oh yeah.
Not feet, but you know,
Yeah.
their legs.
That's pretty
Just
cool.
wondering if
I have a friend who
They
knows
had
way
scent
way
stuff
more
in
about
one
insects
spot.
than me. That if I continue on this topic any further, I'll get in trouble.
So if I like put some vanilla in the jar and I put like someone's clothing
Yes.
in there, will they like chase that person?
Yes,
That's awesome.
absolutely. They can also recognize faces. So if the wasps stick
Wow.
around with you long enough, they'll be able to be like, "Oh, it's you,
Bruh.
the one who feeds us."
That's cool.
I like to think that wasps are little gentlemen who, like, if you mistranslate the word to them, they're just like, "Ah, how dare you!" They sting
yeah.
you because they're clever. You ever, growing up in like Texas, like pools and whatnot, wasps always end up
Oh,
in
yeah.
like
Yeah.
next to these areas for water. But you ever just like try and swim away from them? You pop back up and they like see you pop up.
Uh-huh.
They go find you again.
Yeah.
I once watched my little brother who's swimming around in a pool, and these wasps were after him because he'd messed around in the bushes too much. And he was like, go under here, like go underneath the pool, pop up over here to breathe. And the wasps were like, oh, we're coming to get you. And he'd go down, he'd pop back over, and they started doing like loops to find him.
Oh my goodness.
And they just got tired and left. And I was just like, dude, these little fellas are onto something. They're clever.
crazy. It's crazy to think about like their scent and
Mm-hmm.
also the way that they react to sound. You know, like did y'all know that like chainsaws and loud things like that attract them to sting you? That's why if you're on like a lawnmower or something like that, and there is
Ah.
a wasp nest or a bee's nest or something like that, they'll come and attack you because they don't like those sounds.
Got
so you have
it.
to be careful when you're like
So-
cutting down a tree or something.
Yeah.
Next time.
Because it's rude. It's
Yeah.
rude to turn a chainsaw on next to your neighbor. They think that they're part of a human society, but humans don't know that they think that.
Yeah.
That's why everyone thinks they're so rude.
They're just angry.
I've been stung by a wasp once.
Really?
That's it. I've been around hundreds of wasps since then.
Yeah.
I just
I've
don't-
seen it a couple times.
They chase you if you run.
Yeah.
Like 100%. I swear they're people in that little brain of theirs. Because they'll like come up to me and they're just like, hey man, what's going on? They're like checking you out. And you're just like, oh, I'm doing great. Like literally talk to them. They're just like, oh, I'm doing good. Like you want to follow me for a walk? And then they follow you for a walk a little bit and then they leave.
Yeah.
They just want to say hi. But if you run from them, they're like, what are you doing running?
Yeah.
Got something to hide, fool?
I got stung in my car one time. Almost wrecked out.
What?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I like wouldn't go out the window, and then it like went in my shirt, like in the back of my
Ooh,
shirt.
I had
and
a
stung me.
June bug fly through the window when I was driving, and it started going like up my shorts. I was like, "Bruh,
I don't like
it's
those.
oh." I'm like, I just can't. I had my dad next to me like while I was driving, and he was like, "Don't wreck," and he's like, "I'll get it," and I'm like,
Jeez.
like I could have killed him.
Oh my gosh.
Could have killed
Over a
Dad.
June bug.
Wow.
The
Oh.
only good thing about June bugs is that they feed frogs. You know,
Really?
like toads.
The only
Yeah.
good thing about
Yes,
them?
I hate June bugs,
They're
but I
stupid.
love toads.
Goodness gracious. I didn't know we were going to get so much insect slander when I brought this topic up. I understand people are like not so keen on wasps and yellow jackets and bees and whatnot, but to hate on June bugs, yo.
June bugs.
They're
Well,
stupid.
It's October.
they're just a
They fall off whenever I
projectile.
hit.
You know, like they're just like boom.
Yep,
Like
uh-huh.
hit you in the face.
It
and-
kind of hurts a little bit.
Yeah.
They have no goal but to run into you and then fall right off.
Yeah. How can you fly but not be able to do it very well?
A
you
bat?
know? Like,
A bat? Bats don't use echolocation. They're just dumb. They chose to fly around at nighttime and they're scared because they can't see. So they're screaming all the time.
That's funny.
Idiots. Nah, bats are cool too. So, did y'all listen in to the Texan debate last week? Or this week? Jeez.
I did not get to.
This week.
no.
It was on mask mandates.
Oh.
If you want to listen into all of their points, then you can 100% listen into the stream. It's going to be up on the communications YouTube page, I believe. However, I will let you know beforehand, just a fun little aside. Nobody knew that those mics were on. So I was getting all of the table gossip.
Oh, nice.
Oh my goodness. It was fun. One of my favorite parts about being a tech is showing up early and just setting everything up and then just chilling into the space. I'm just sitting all the way up in the top of that auditorium. I think it's the main auditorium. No, it's the one on the northern side.
Okay.
That has like the giant projector
Yeah.
and like all the sound stuff in the
Oh,
back of
yeah.
it.
Uh-huh.
That has like all the room mics in it. Because I'm just up there in this little tiny window, like literally these giant
yeah.
windows that are the size of y'all's windows here, and I'm just sitting right here on the edge, like looking down with headphones and speaker on, just listening in remotely to the microphones all the way down at the front desk. Everyone's talking about this and that, and people were worried about their points. People were worried about what to do afterwards. Lot of fun topics, but I was just makes me feel like some sort of weird secret agent
Oh yeah.
whenever I get a chance to do
There's
those.
some juicy gossip going on.
Nothing actually important, but it was definitely a lot of fun to just be in the moment. Cole took off today, but if she could definitely clarify. I was shooting shots because there was two tables, and they were talking about each other at one point without being able to hear each other because they were too far away. And I was just like, oh, this one said this. This one said this. This one's moved on. This one's still on this. I was just going back and forth real quick because we were in a completely soundproof room as well. So it was like, take the headphones off, nothing, absolutely dead. Put them back on, you just get everything that's downstage. Very fun.
Nice. That
Very
sounds like
much
fun.
enjoyable. Yeah, Texan debate team. I heard everything. I know all of your secrets now.
Oh.
I'm taking all of your credit cards. But if you want to listen to the actual factual debate, which we streamed up on KXTR, you can head over to the YouTube channel. I think you just look up Texan debate Tarleton State 2020. We'll have to
Something like that.
we'll have to
It'll
find
work.
it. We'll have to find it later.
Cool.
The carnival. Were y'all excited for that? This coming month,
Whoa, yeah.
the carnival. Well, it's postponed.
Oh.
I was so confused.
Yeah,
I'm like,
I thought it was
isn't it
postponed.
not?
Postponed.
It's
Okay.
postponed officially. March 6th.
Postponed.
That's look like.
Postponed.
The carnival is going to be postponed, but the haunted house is still happening.
Yes,
That's
it
tonight.
is. That's
Taylor.
the event I will be at.
Taylor's gonna be there. She's gonna be frozen solid.
right.
Yeah.
So
I'm gonna have so many layers on.
please speak up when you talk to her. She's gonna have all kinds
Yep.
of layers.
So many earmuffs. I want people to hear
I
you.
want
Yeah.
to get a pair of earmuffs. I've never owned earmuffs.
Oh, they're nice.
I'm like, this should be a thing in my life.
It's like a really
why is it
cushy
not?
pillow on both sides,
Your-
24/7.
Your ears are very important to your profession.
Yes, they are.
They're-
What?
Jeez.
Oh.
Good.
Yeah.
Are they gonna rename the Halloween carnival? Or is
I-
it
They
gonna be
should
Halloween
keep it.
carnival in March?
I think they should call it Halloween
That
2
would be
Carnival.
Hilarious.
Oh my
We just
gosh.
move Halloween into spring.
Yeah.
We're gonna have all the sports there as well. Next semester is gonna be busy.
Ugh.
It's gonna be very busy
If it happens.
We can't.
if the semester even happens.
Yeah.
We can't even blame everything on 2020 anymore.
Mm.
Like once it
Yeah.
turns 2021, like
Right.
what excuse are we gonna have?
Excuse?
know?
I'm so confused actually.
Like how it's like
Everyone
this,
hates the year.
Oh, 2020.
Oh,
like
yeah.
once it
Yeah.
turns 2021, like what are you gonna say? Oh no.
Yep.
Like, this
Oh,
is just
oh no.
this has
No.
just been 2 years of,
Darn.
Yeah, just 2 years.
awfulness.
Well, coming up on the March, that's when everything
Oh yeah.
everything
wow.
happened.
Yeah.
That's when that'll be the official year.
List.
But I think we have a good thing, all the events happening next semester, because in the event that the vaccine gets set up, everyone will be able to go to all of them. And you'll be able to be in high flex classes, so you can attend them and also go to your classes and go to the events and just constantly effectively be online as a student entirely. But every once in a while, you can go check on your professor if you have a question,
Yeah.
because that's how most high flex classes are nowadays. I was hearing I think Winston, someone who used to work here, who has now been stolen away to the comms department because they teach more classes now. They were like, yeah, nobody comes to class. I just talk in a room like a crazy person, and people are just like not interacting on the Zoom meetings either. Like there's a lot of professors who are experiencing some really weird side effects to this whole thing, where there's not getting any interaction whatsoever.
I think there's like an extremism in that. Like either you're getting no reaction at all, or people are talking a lot more because
Yes.
they're more comfortable because you can't see their face.
Mm.
You know? And especially like, not to go back to being musicians
Oh,
or
go ahead.
like all that
No,
stuff.
go
but
ahead. Go ahead.
I've noticed that
Wow.
like performing in front of a camera, I feel like it's a lot easier to be
Yeah.
bigger with your movements and like
because you have
be a better performer
controlled
because
space.
yeah, and you can like do it however many times. But then also with like live performances when Facebook was still allowing
Yeah.
that.
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah,
Not
those are
anymore.
all dead.
Yeah, but when they were allowing that, I think it was easier as a performer to talk more to your audience and be bigger
Mhm.
about it because you weren't
Right.
getting a response. You had to hold the conversation.
Yeah.
Whereas before, you might have, been like, oh, no one's responding to me. I'm just going to back off and not match that energy.
Mm.
Where, like, if you don't have an audience, you're just going to create the energy that you would
Yeah.
want there to be anyways.
Yeah, everyone's turning into
Yeah.
live streamers.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so I think that'll be better once we actually go back into like in-person performances and things
Mhm.
like that, because you'll already be confident in, hey, here's the energy level that I need to have, and it doesn't matter what the audience is giving me back
Mm.
because I'm confident in it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's one good thing.
I agree.
Maybe that'll be with like public speaking too.
Plus, we do have
No, nobody. I know that nobody enjoys public speaking.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
if
you're
your
right.
face is covered and you're like separated,
Yeah.
might be
Just
easier
wear a
to be
big
more
ol-
confident.
Wear a big old
Right.
Halloween mask.
Yeah. I mean, Rissa and I do have a class together where it's we can do a Zoom option, but it is required to, because we take attendance in all these classes,
Yeah.
in order to receive attendance and participation grades, because we have those too. We have to be, if we're zoomed in, we have to be like not in our pajamas. We have to be presentable and sitting up with a light on. where you can see our face, and you have to have your camera on the whole time. And if you don't get credit for your attendance or participation that day, even if they see that you're there, but you're just like not like if you're just like in a onesie with the blanket over your head or something, you know. So that's kind of nice. I think that and I've had in my government class once we were doing like a lab breakout session, and we had a presentation day where you as soon as you did your presentation you could leave, but it was kind of like a good way to get everyone to talk. So like you had to say something before you were allowed. You could hang around if you wanted to, but so there are ways to getting more people involved on Zoom.
I think we're required in that one class to make one comment during the class. Also.
That's how one of my discussions are, because it physically has so many people. They capped us at one comment because early on we had too many side discussions. It's a government class, so it got really political really quickly. Unfortunately, there's no way to
in my government.
There's no way to like truly monitor people unless you just.
I think everything's kind of going a little bit more political right now, just because it is an election year, and it's okay. You just got to be accepting of it, you know.
Yeah, I think it always happens. It always happens around election years, I feel. Apparently, this one is, I would think, a lot worse. We talked last week about everyone getting cabin fever, and so everyone's everyone picks their one thing to like be up in arms about. Mine is, if you're gonna go out to a restaurant, get a to-go box. Otherwise, I'm finding you. Quit throwing your food away. I hate it. I don't work dish a lot now at my other job, but when I do, so many people waste so much food. I've thrown away entire tables of food because they just eat their little chips and they like pick at their food, and you see them like destroying this thing.
I hate that.
And then they just leave it on the table. You ordered that. It's yours now.
I used to work at the Texas Motor Speedway and for the Ranger Stadium. Oh, so much food goes out of there, especially at the racing track, because they have these like really fancy seats at the very top. That's where all the like famous people go.
The boxes.
Which I mean, I've met a lot of cool celebrities up there from that. That was a cool opportunity. But because they're like, you know, they're not gonna go sit down and pig out or whatever, but they still order a bunch of food, and they kind of pick at it, and then when they're done, like I'll have like huge trays of stuff, like
unusable entirely,
expensive, nice, like they'll have a dessert tray that's like maybe 4 feet, you know, like just covered in stuff, and maybe someone ate like 2 things, and it's just, I hated it. We were allowed, you know, because we're gonna throw it away. They're like, well, you know, we're gonna throw it away. You guys are you can keep whatever you want. You can
risk it. You can risk it for whatever, anything that was touched.
I straight up, because we would have wings sometimes, like a huge tray of wings just thrown away. So I used to take it all. And you know, anybody, like even if it was back in high school, so the next day like I'd keep it really preserved well, and then I'd take it to the band hall and say, hey, lunch is on me today, and it's just like really nice wings and desserts and you know, so it's like, I can't believe you're gonna throw it away. I mean, like we're not super needy or anything, but like thrown away.
Food waste is crazy.
I think just waste in general in America is crazy. Like we are so wasteful. We don't recycle. There's like a stigma against it. You know, against all of that. I hope that's changing.
Well, I saw this thing recently that was like technically recycling isn't real, because of like the numbers on plastics. The technology to recycle still doesn't exist for every one of them. It's a whole like big thing.
Yes, there
it's
are
a whole
like
giant process.
Non-recyclable plastics, but that doesn't.
Only because we don't have the facilities to recycle them, not because you can't reuse them. It's terrible. It's a whole thing.
I mean,
that's what I've been recently getting on, is like ecology.
They're definitely successful at it in other countries, so I think that it's just us not doing it. You know,
I try and recycle like everything, like, you know, those little Starbucks coffees that you get from Walmart that are glass.
I love glass and ceramic ware.
Yes, I save like every little container of glass, and I always clean it up, and I'll put like a plant in there and do like some macrame or something, and I'll give it away.
We were able to turn this around from complaining about music business. I'm kidding.
The sad thing is that it's you're not really gonna change it just by recycling on a personal, like in your own life, because it's a lot of big corporations and things like that that
this
are
is true.
not doing their part, which is the biggest.
At least I can erase my carbon footprint a little bit.
Yeah. No, I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just saying it's sad that you know you can do that and not make that big of a difference when there's corporations that could make smaller changes and have a very large impact.
This is true, but once everyone is recycling except the big corporations, then we get to go and eat them.
I think it's also like
we get to go, Taylor.
Like the consumerism, though, like what you want is what is produced. So until that mentality is changed, they're not going to change it because that's not what is being asked of them. You know,
true.
Because people ask for plastic.
We got to start making them like they used to. Got to start, everyone get a sewing machine that'll work, a Singer sewing machine. Made out of
good stuff.
Metal press.
Ooh,
works
I have
forever.
my grandma's old one from when she got when she was a teenager.
Dude, I found some
beautiful.
tools once in my grandfather's shed, or my great uncle's shed, actually. Who, I don't know how it works. He's related to me somehow. He had some old tools, and I was like, these should be like ruined. He's like, nah, man, you clean them when you're done using them, and they'll never be bad. And I was like, what? Don't they rust? He's like, nah, like oil them, keep them safe.
Yeah.
Idiot. And he left.
Yeah.
But I was just like, you can keep things, like, you can preserve stuff? Yeah. Aw, man. There's just a whole level of like ecology and consumption and understanding what you really need that I feel it causes people, because there's this weird little, like, this can be our last thing.
Okay.
Because we have to do some stuff here at the station.
Yeah.
I'm gonna press the button so we can be out of here in a second.
All right.
Some people just don't want $1 million. People just want enough to be satiated. It's just a gentle thought that I've had for a long time. It's like just middle income. Just a big entire country, everyone who's middle income, then there's very few problems. There's not no problems.
Yeah.
There's a lot less problems. There's a lot less extremes. Jeff Bezos, give me all your stuff. This has been, listeners, viewers, you come to a close here on our episode. If you showed up late or wish to revisit us, you can find this show on our YouTube channel, Tarleton Radio, as a video, or listen in on iTunes, Spotify, or anywhere you get podcasts. For updates about the show and other interesting things, make sure to follow us here at the station on all of the links in the description for our social medias. This has been your episode of Cruisin the Planet, where you can find something to do in and around Stephenville every week. If you've enjoyed the show, don't forget to recommend us to your friends. And if you have any questions or suggestions, ask them in the comments or as a review of this show if you happen to be able to do that. I was up at like 6 a.m. this morning because James couldn't do morning edition. Ooh. My whole schedule's thrown off. I'm going to bed at 9 tonight.
Nice. Sounds good.
I promise.